Today's episode is brought to you by Chaos Heroes Online. It's a brand new MOBA-style game that right now is in private beta from Area Games, and I've been playing it. That's right, I've been playing a MOBA. Area Games were kind enough to send me their game as part of this sponsorship, and I'll tell you right now that I love it. Love it. Watch gameplay of my exploits on the YouTube video feed right now, and if you're a fan of teaming up with other heroes to do battle and conquer, then this is the MOBA for you. From designers with over a decade of experience designing core MOBA features, this action-packed game will keep you in the fight. With the ability to gear up in the heat of battle, teleport directly to or from the action, and with an emphasis on consumables, Chaos Heroes Online guarantees a new experience for all MOBA enthusiasts. So don't waste another moment and sign up for the beta today. There's a link in the YouTube description, or check out www.chaosheroes-online.com. That's chaosheroes-online.com.
He's getting older.
Champagne room.
Oh, hit the full button.
But not wiser.
King of the world, baby. King of the world.
This is The Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Lefty Show. I'm your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today, Wednesday, which is the, crap, where's my old calendar? It's the 10th of September in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014, episode number 87. Coming right at you here today. Thank you to everybody that's been watching, liking, and favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find this show in its YouTube formation. I thank everybody that also has been sharing the show. It works. Trust me, if you want to help the show grow, share the show with friends, family, and coworkers. It's available on your PC, tablet, or mobile device, whether it be Android or iOS-based, or if you get your stuff from the iTunes store, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search The Lefty Show. You'll be sure to find us there. Be sure to subscribe and download all the episodes that you want to listen to. Thank you to everybody that's been following me on Twitter at Lefty643, as well as donating. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can do that. Chaos Heroes Online is the sponsor of today's show. Again, there's gameplay in the video feed, going to be on there for a bit. Check out the beta. There's a link in the description. Go ahead and click that if you're interested in a MOBA-style game of any kind. It's a Dota 2. It's a branch of a Dota 2 mod. That was popular in Korea, now making its way stateside, or well, outside of Korea, or excuse me, it's a mod of something. One part became Dota. One faction became Dota, and there was another faction that played just a bit differently and with different maps, and that stayed in Korea and was very, very, very popular in Korea, now making its way stateside by way of Chaos Heroes Online. So go to www.chaosheroes-online.com, check out and sign up for the beta. Give it a try. If you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. I got to tell you, when I played it, I did indeed enjoy it, and there's gameplay on there for you, on the video feed for you, so if you want to check it out, you want to look at that kind of stuff, it is there for you. I got been getting a lot of feedback. Apparently people don't like the intro, and I don't know why. We're in an age of people just say, I hate this, this crap sucks, but never really substantiate their claims, and they act as though that's criticism or any kind of criticism. Nevertheless, eventually they're going to say it's constructive, but I just what's wrong with the intro, man? And please, for the love of God, don't say it's the same every time. My word, if people honestly are going to complain that it's the same every time, just like there were people that originally complained about the propers being the same every time, oh God, I have to steel my mind for that influx of stupid. But a lot of people hate the intro, and what's wrong with it? I mean, I threw enough filters on my big voice guy voice that, you know, if you're not thinking about it, you may not know it's me. I mean, it is me. I just did my big voice guy impression and then threw a bunch of filters on it to make it sound different. But what more do you want from a guy that's not an audio engineer? That was when I made that. That was like 3 cups of coffee, and I called that a day. I was happy as hell. I was, oh man, look at this! I made this. This is nice. I'm happy about it. Apparently people don't like it. Everybody likes the guitar, the metal stuff that happens after the that leads us in. But I don't know. It just, you get 2 spots to play sound drops. Gonna get some more sound drops. I've been saying some outlandish things, I think. I just got to go through and crop those up. If you want to tweet me timestamps, that's what you can do. If you want to tweet me an episode and a timestamp of something that you think would be a sunny drop I was going to say a funny sound drop, and it turned into sunny drop. Oh, wow. Ugh, bad. Sound like James Brown there. Get best hitmail. Wow. If you want to tweet me an episode number and a timestamp of something that you think would be a funny drop, either something I said or a video that I was playing in the background, eventually, hopefully, we'll get to a point on this show where we can have call in, and then that will be like a cornucopia of probably of funny stuff to call from there. But if you want to tweet me at Lefty643 on Twitter, follow me there as well. You say, hey, an episode this at the 5-minute mark, please try to be as exact as you can, and I'll go through the raw files that I have and find that and add it to the drop list. There's some that I don't use. There's Reverend X.
Bitch, I'm flowing straight from the survival scroll.
I thought I'd be using that a lot. I don't. I thought I'd be using.
Cut that bitch off.
I should probably keep that just in case you do get call-in functionality, because that's perfect. Just, somebody's going stupid.
Cut that bitch off.
There we go. That'd be good. But, this is good too.
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
This one I thought would be good, but it's not. It's just Reverend X ha-haing.
I can't see you though, bitch.
That would be good. I don't know. I could make some jokes out of that. I've got some intro stuff here that I'd never use. I've got me doing, and then me doing Scoozy. Mm-hmm. Everybody has affinity for cock. That one's got to stay. That one's beautiful. And then, hello there.
He's got AIDS.
I forgot I had that one. Oh, Roger Sterling, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got AIDS.
He does. Like, well, Magic Johnson, he's got AIDS. That curmudgeonly old fool thought it was relevant. Why are you listening to Magic Johnson? He's got AIDS. I mean, of course. Why would you ever listen to anybody that has AIDS? This is ridiculous. You don't listen to AIDS-ridden people. He's crazy. Even though Magic Johnson only has HIV, it hasn't turned into AIDS, right? Because that's what it is. It's HIV. HIV is treatable, but when HIV turns into AIDS, you have AIDS. But not HIV, but full-blown AIDS. When it turns into AIDS, then you're at the whim of something that pneumonia or the flu or something that'll come and get you. But Magic Johnson has HIV, so no, Roger Sterling.
He's got AIDS.
Not yet. He's HIV positive, but he's got millions upon millions of dollars, and he's stopped that HIV in its tracks. What exactly happens to turn it into AIDS? I don't know. I'm not a doctor or anything. I don't even play one on YouTube. That's just crazy talk right there. But Magic Johnson does not, despite Roger Sterling,
he's got AIDS.
Does not have AIDS, Roger. I'm sorry. I know it fits your I know it fits what you want to talk about in your racist ranting about how Magic Johnson is a bastard or whatever it is you were just talking about. Funny how he just kind of went away, huh? Roger Sterling. I was hoping that he would battle the NBA. I was hoping that just old bigoted white man with a lot of money, and he's going to die soon, and he's just going to fight. He's going to fight you. He's going to go down swinging with the NBA. But he just went away. He just took his money. And, he made a lot of money from the sale of the Clippers, even the forced sale, even the we're going to force you out. That made him a ton of money. Just like everybody talking about Ray Rice being released by the Baltimore Ravens. Ray Rice is getting paid. I don't know. I'm not privy. I'm not up on the specifics of his deal, Ray Rice's deal. But I assume that it's just a standard release, as though, you cut somebody, you cut a lower level guy in the NFL, and not all very little of contracts are guaranteed. A team can release you at any time, and they just owe you the bonus money and whatever guaranteed salary you had. So unless Ray Rice was in the last year of his deal, he's getting paid. If he's got bonus money outstanding, if he deferred anything at the time, I don't know when he came into the league, whether he was 23, 24 years old. He's 27 now. I don't know if he's still on his rookie deal, but I doubt he's still on his rookie deal. But getting paid. So woman beater, batterer, yeah, but he's just sitting on a beach now. Suspended indefinitely by the NFL. Now, I don't know if suspension from the NFL, I don't know what that does. I don't know if your contract with the Baltimore Ravens Football Club is at the leisure of the NFL. So if the Baltimore Ravens release you, they owe you a certain amount of money, whatever it is, right? But if the NFL then subsequently suspends you, I don't know if you get that money still, or if those payments are suspended as though you were suspended in any other way by the NFL, where they can take game checks from you. They just say, no, you're not getting those game checks. Not happening. So I don't know. It may be that he's not actually getting paid. But the point is, I was upset with Roger Sterling because, show me something, man. What are you going to do? What are you, Roger Sterling, going to do with that extra couple $100 million you made off the sale of the Clippers? What are you going to do? You're already 84 years old. You're a curmudgeon-y old man. You don't know where you're going, what you're doing. You just have handlers, and you kind of mutter, do this, we're in a black church. And then they take you to a black church, and they prop you up, and you just mutter incoherent things at black people who are paid to look at you and go, oh, yes, yay, Roger Sterling, yes, I hate you, but your people are paying me to look upon you fondly. And then you go back and you're hurt, you're taken off of your whatever's propping you up, and then you're put back in the car and taken home and put to bed, given some warm milk, and then you go away. You have no life if you're Roger Sterling. You walk around with all these hot bimbos, but there's no way nothing's happening. There's no way anything's happening there. I don't think they make enough Viagra in order to make Roger Sterling work in that way. No. No way that he's that he works in that he's able to function. Those girls are just candy pieces. It's just, hey, look at this nice dime on my arm. I'm not gonna do anything else because I can't, but it sure looks nice, doesn't it? So Roger Sterling, what are you going to do? Really? You've got more money now. Okay, because you didn't fight the NBA tooth and nail on the sale of the Clippers. But why not? You're going to die in a couple years anyway. You're not going to be able to use the money after you die. I mean, it's not like it goes with you. Does he have any kids? I don't even know. You could fight, even then, Roger Sterling, you have enough money where you could liquidate all your other assets just to fight the NBA and still leave whatever kids and your wife whom you hate, and still leave the Sterling Family Trust enough money to have generational wealth just based on the interest payments on your liquidated, the cash reserves of your liquidated assets. Come on. Give me a show. I want to see theater. I want to see you. It's too late now because that crazy Microsoft guy bought the Clippers. But I just wanted to see, come on. Pull down the veil of the NBA. I'm not talking about this, the Bruce Levinson email. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the shady, unscrupulous things that other NBA owners have done and that the NBA knew about, but were still okay with. That's what I wanted. I wanted it all out in the open. I wanted the NBA to have to look at that and go, oh, man, we are going to have to say that, yeah, we knew that our owners did this and we didn't fire them or we didn't remove them from ownership because it wasn't made public. That's all. Because that would be Roger Sterling's case. You say, you knew I was a racist. You knew I was. I mean, my whole illegal housing efforts, violating the civil rights of people seeking housing, or violating equal housing opportunity laws, that's all public stuff. You knew I was a bigot for a long time ago. Since time immemorial, you knew I was a bigot. But you were okay with that so long as it wasn't in the public eye. Now it's in the public eye, and now I got to go. You can't have me. Well, okay, let's take a look at what other owners are doing that you are okay with and you haven't removed from ownership. Oh, it would have been so good. But Roger Sterling cares more about money that he's not going to use after he dies, than actually putting on a show and going, oh, yeah. You know, and that's the thing. Everybody loves to have FU money or even F me money, right? I'm going to put myself out, and I will put myself out, but I will have the money to just to get you. Everybody loves the idea of FU money, but there are very few people who will actually go FU with it. Adam Carolla comes to mind. He talks about it. But if I'm a billionaire like Roger Sterling, like I said many shows ago, I'm just suing you. I'm going to sue you. I don't like what you're sued. Oh, this, this backwards cracker ass town somewhere is doing this or that, or undocumented immigrants from Guatemala, 35-year-olds are showing up in public schools in some northeastern town. All right, well, guess what? I'm going to move there for a couple months, and then I'm going to sue you. There you go. That's FU money. Actually, you can have FU money, but it only becomes FU money when you use it. You can have an amount of money that would it be to be used properly would be FU money, but it's only FU money if you go FU. You got to, hey, FU, you MFer, get off me. Come on, bring it on. That's what Roger Sterling should have done, but he didn't because, the money's so important to me. Yeah. Damn it. Hate you, Roger Sterling. Hate you so much. There was a story I wanted to talk about in relation, because we've done this Ray Rice thing to death. But Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, gave an interview yesterday with CBS News in which he talked about, in which he talked about the emergence of the second tape showcasing Ray Rice knocking out Cole Janae Palmer at the time, now Janae Rice. And he said in no uncertain terms that of course, to his knowledge, nobody associated or representing the NFL saw that second tape. They made a token effort to get the tape, and they were denied, but nobody had seen it before it was released early Monday morning, before it was leaked early Monday morning. That's what Roger Goodell wants everybody to believe, that the NFL, despite pet reporters, the NFL's pet reporters, Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter, a bunch of ESPN guys and girls, were told by league sources. This was months ago. If you go back and read stories from months ago, the people, I believe Adam Schefter or perhaps it was Chris Mortensen, wrote of a video, quoted an inside NFL source. And in the story written months ago was a quote from a source who gave a description of what we saw early Monday morning. What we saw. That said, she spits on him, she hits him, then he hits her back hard with a left, and she falls and hits her head on the railing. That's what they said, that this video exists. This is what's on it. That was months ago. From an NFL pet reporter quoting an inside NFL source, an NFL representative, an NFL rep. But Roger Goodell now wants you to believe, oh, no, I didn't. Again, I broke it down. There's a difference between seeing the tape and knowing what is on the tape. So Roger Goodell, he may be truthful when he says, nobody in my inner circle, as defined by this, nobody saw that tape. But that doesn't mean that they didn't know what was on the tape. And Roger Goodell is trying to spin this narrative of, well, we didn't know. I had no idea what was on it. I'm learning it just like everybody else, which is now why Ray Rice has got to go. Not, I knew it was on it months ago. I suspended him 2 games because it was sealed up as part of an ongoing criminal investigation, and I had just hoped that it would never go public. It did, and now I've got but I've got the plausible deniability card in my back pocket. So Roger Goodell is basically just a gigantic penis. It's a penis. Because everybody knows the NFL is powerful enough to find this stuff. Everybody knows, oh, well, we made a request and the prosecutor denied it. Bullcrap. Your pet reporters were reporting that NFL reps had seen and were able to recount what was on that video. Recant would be to take back, I believe. Got that wrong. Sometimes I get things wrong. It happens. So okay. But it was great in the interview because Roger Goodell was asked by the interviewer, so nobody associated with the NFL has seen this video. Roger Goodell said no. The next question was, did you need to see, the reporter asked, did you really need to see this second video to know that Ray Rice should have been punished harshly? Roger Goodell said no. Idiot. He's a gigantic penis, and he's an idiot. Just walked right into, because the own story that he's trying to spin was we didn't know about this, which is why I had to amend the punishment, that going from a 2-game suspension to an indefinite NFL suspension, which could possibly mean never again playing in the NFL. That's what Roger Goodell is trying to say. But then asked whether he even needed to see this to know what happened. To say, well, you know what it looks like when somebody gets knocked out. Did you need to see this in order to know that Ray Rice should have been suspended harshly? And he said, like an idiot, no. Really, Roger? Really? Well, you're sure? Like, you go down. You say that's your final answer. You knew, given months ago. She was knocked unconscious. You saw that video, and it was horrific, right? Yeah, it was awful. So you didn't even need to see Ray Rice knock unconscious Janae Palmer to know that it was horrific. Yeah, and to know that he should have been suspended. Yeah. Well, then why did you change the suspension? If you didn't need to see this to know what happened, to know, oh, man, this is awful, you need to go away for a while, why change the suspension? You should stick to your guns, right? You go, oh, no, well, yeah, I knew. Yep, that's what it looks like. Yeah, I suspended him for that. I didn't need to see the video because I knew what somebody being knocked out by Ray Rice looked like. And it was horrific and tragic and awful. And I suspended him then as like a down payment on this. That's what he should have said, but now he's saying, well, I didn't know, and now I got to change this or that. So which is it, Roger? Which is it? Did you really not need to see this video? Because if you did not need to see this video, then you shouldn't have changed the punishment. It shouldn't have been changed. It should be the same now, 2-game suspension for Ray Rice, as it was Monday morning when you allegedly saw the tape. And I'm searching something here because on this Ray Rice thing, I want to talk about domestic violence. And this is a thought I had yesterday, and I didn't know President Barack Obama had come out on this issue. This is from the USA Today. The White House released a statement Monday night strongly condemning domestic violence after NFL running back Ray Rice was cut by the Baltimore Ravens for an act of domestic violence. The statement, released by Press Secretary Josh Earnest, said, "The president is the father of 2 daughters, and like any American, he believes that domestic violence is contemptible and unacceptable in a civilized society. Hitting a woman is not something a real man does. And that's true whether or not an act of violence happens in the public eye or, far too often, behind closed doors. That's the key. Hitting a woman is not something a real man does. Hitting a woman is not something a real man does. So here we have a whole litany of things, a whole litany of issues. Number one, why is domestic violence only male to female? Because you're talking about, he believes that domestic violence is contemptible and unacceptable in a civilized society. Next sentence, hitting a woman is not something a real man does. So, in the eyes of the President of the United States, this is how bad feminism and our misandristic, I don't know if that's a word, patent, trademark. This is how bad the misandry in our society has gotten, or misandry has gotten in our society. Next sentence from the President of the United States of America, and Joe Biden, too. This isn't a gaffe. Joe Biden said the exact same thing. And if you look around, everybody everywhere is saying the exact same thing. Domestic violence is deplorable. A man should never hit a woman. Domestic violence equals male to female. And that's it in our society. That's the brainwashing. We are at a point, we are at the precipice of men not being able to be victims of domestic violence. That's where we are, right there, if we aren't there already. Because whenever somebody talks about domestic violence, the next sentence out of their mouth, they say DV. They say domestic violence is awful. You should never commit domestic violence, which is PC enough, is gender neutral. But then, next sentence is always, man should never hit a woman. Or somewhere in their spiel, it's a man should never ever raise his hand to a woman. That is unacceptable domestic violence. Men in our society, and you know the people on Reddit and liberals on the internet can all pretend that, oh no, well, we really mean that it's just domestic violence. Women towards men, men towards women, women towards women, men towards men. Doesn't matter. If it's domestic violence, it's awful, deplorable, and we should stop it. But those same people won't stop saying a man should never raise his hand to a woman. And we have the President of the United States in a statement violating my right to equal protection, because now my girlfriend is not as equally disincentivized from committing domestic violence upon me as I am for committing it upon her. Because, domestic violence is contemptible and not acceptable in a civilized society. A man should never raise his hand to another woman. That is blah, blah, blah. That is sin. That is this. Can we stop pretending that misandry is a fictitious figment of the imagination of men who just want to pretend that feminism is crap, that misogyny is crap? Can we stop pretending that misandry is a fictitious construct of misogynists? Misandry is real. It's real in our society, and it's right here when the president says, and again, and no, I won't stop repeating it, because you need to see how stupid it is. He believes that domestic violence is contemptible and unacceptable in a civilized society. Next sentence, hitting a woman is not something a real man does. And furthermore, that's how we define masculinity now. That's how we define being a man, is never, you never hit a woman. You're not a real man if you hit a woman. And hold on a second. Here's something we really, 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 really need to stop doing. It's gone too far, and how it's been allowed to go this far in the first place is completely beyond me. But we need to stop saying there's no reason ever to hit a woman, or no man should ever raise his hand to a woman, or hitting a woman is not something a real man does, implying that it is universally unacceptable to be violent towards a woman. We need to stop that because one, it gives rise to men male to female violence being the only talked about form of domestic violence. And that leads to the only way to commit domestic violence is male to female. And that's a natural progression. And we're right there, right on the cusp, right on the borderline. So misandry aside, it tells us when you say there's no reason, no circumstances under which a man can hit a woman, you tell potential victims of domestic violence, you better not defend yourself. That's what you tell them. When you say a man could, because in reality, not in the mind of feminists, say, oh, domestic violence is really only male to female, because there are men that are abused. But when you say there's no reason to commit domestic violence, there's no reason to raise your hand to a woman, you are telling victims of potential victims and current victims alike of domestic violence, male to female, female to male, female to female, male to male, does not matter, all victims, all genders of domestic violence, you are telling them, do not defend yourselves. And that's wrong. That's wrong, because when you tell them do not defend yourselves, you are cutting at the heart of the mentality that allows them to ultimately stand up for themselves. Because the first thing that happens is you defend yourself physically. That's what happens. You defend yourself physically. And yes, there are circumstances under which it is okay to raise your hand towards a woman. Because boiling it down to, people like to pretend that, self-defense is implied. No, it's not. Because when you say there's no circumstances under which you can hit a woman, what about that implies that self-defense is a special case that's okay? When people say under no circumstances should you hit a woman, you're not a real man if you hit a woman. What about those statements, those global statements, imply or even allow for self-defense being acceptable? Yeah. And it's specifically applied here. The reason people wanted to see what happened in that elevator was because healthy skeptics wanted to see what happened inside that elevator, because there are a certain set of situations and circumstances under which Ray Rice would have been justified in punching Janae Palmer. Yes. People can pretend that, that can never happen, It's crap. It's BS. Kiss my ass if you don't like it. You can kiss my ass. But there were a set of circumstances under which Ray Rice would have been justified in punching Janae Palmer in the face. Yes. And we just need to accept that, because to pretend that it doesn't exist is to tell victims of domestic violence, do not defend yourselves. I thought we were all about stopping domestic violence, huh? And empowering victims. We need to empower victims of domestic violence, because all too often they feel helpless and locked in, and they feel scared and fearful of what might happen if they stand up for themselves. So we need to empower them and enable them to stand up for themselves. Would that not start with defending yourself physically? Wouldn't it start there? And it takes a special kind of ass bag. You have to be a special kind of ass bag to actually say, well, you should take the beating, but then find another way to defend yourself. Find another way to stand up for yourself. Take the beating. Take the physical abuse. Emotional abuse, we're talking specifically here physical abuse. Take the physical abuse and then find another way to stand up for yourself. It was different with the guy coming out to his cracker-ass family. Because the guy coming out to his cracker-ass family, you know that's going to elicit emotional abuse. You know they're going to, I believe in the word of God, you're backwards in his choice and you're wrong, get out of my house. And all you had to do, one night, because you can be gone. I mean, you could start packing then. You could be out in a couple hours. You say, okay, I'm going to go pack my stuff and leave. I don't want to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. There's no reason to be violent. I'm going to go. I'm going. My defense starts now by me packing my crap and getting out of here. Going somewhere. Physical violence is another thing entirely. Because, all right, well, now my body is at risk. My consciousness, the very thing that allows me to think of complex thought of I think, therefore I am. That is now at risk because somebody is physically assaulting me. All right, I need to deal with this immediate threat now and not the long-term threat or medium-term threat of emotional abuse. All right, well, emotional abuse gets put on the back burner for a moment. I need to deal with this physical assault, this frontal assault right now. But to say, oh, well, you're not a real man, never hit a woman. Global proclamations like that leave no room for, well, self-defense is okay. It should, if it starts out with outside of self-defense, you shouldn't be hitting a woman. Okay. But nobody says that. It's just, no, in no case, you're not a real man. Not this, no. So screw you, Barack Obama, bastard. Screw you. Oh, well, you're not a real man. All right. Well, when Michelle comes home drunk one night and starts beating on you because she's like Patrick Ewing. She's like a long-haired Patrick Ewing who doesn't look awful. She's actually, rather nice looking. So I guess not like Patrick Ewing. She's got muscles, though. She's on that fit kick. When she comes home and starts beating the crap out of you, you better not raise your hand to defend yourself. Not at all. I don't want to hear you. You better just take it. You better take it lying down because otherwise you are not a real man, Barack. And we really need to stop pretending that our society is not at least a little bit anti-male. I mean, it's just at least a little bit anti-male. Because at least in popular society, at least in culture, in practicality, there's still a domain that men hold sway over, and yes, they try to swing that pendulum back and screw you. No. This is now we're gonna be glass ceiling, all that stupid backwards crap too. But in terms of discourse, in terms of culture, in terms of things like the big hot button issue like domestic violence, it's always presented as one way, as a one-way street. Just like racism, just like hate crimes, always presented as being a one-way street. There's been an update. People have been arrested, and more people have been arrested as a result of that Memphis black mob attack. No hate crimes filed. More news outlets are picking up the story of the two black women in Brooklyn who broke into somebody's white people's apartment with firearms, pointed them at them and said, move out, and said, we did it because they were white and we don't want whitey moving in here and driving up rent prices. No hate crimes filed against them either. None. They've had time. There's been arrests. They were arrested on Saturday. No hate crimes filed yet. Anti-male, and you know what? A little bit anti-white, too. We just need to accept it. To say, oh, well, yeah, this is probably not the best way to go about eliminating the things that we are aiming to eliminate. Because I get the idea of hate crime. I get the intent. I get the idea behind affirmative action. I get it. It's a noble intent. Yes. We would be a better society overall if there weren't backwards people who disliked you because of your God, disliked you because of which genitalia on other humans you enjoyed, or even your own. Or didn't dislike you because of the pigment of your skin or where you were born, whether in another country or another part of this country. We would be a better society overall if that crap just did not matter to people. However, to end those things, to stamp out racism by being racist, to stamp out sexism by being sexist, is not the answer. It's not the answer. Because your answer to male men in positions of power in society being anti-woman, and I don't deny that, your answer to that is to be anti-male. That can't be the answer. Sexism is not the cure-all for sexism. Why do people need to be told this? Racism is not the cure for racism. It's not. But somehow people have convinced themselves that, well, you know, if we present domestic violence as one way, we're going to do something there. Never mind, we'll forget about the other things that go on. If we, you know, there are some people in this society that are racist. So what we're going to do is we're going to be racist, but in the opposite direction. That'll fix it. People convince themselves of this lunacy. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go. It won't work. Let's do some news. All right, we got some news to talk, some news items to talk about today. I talked yesterday about a little bit about atheists being hyper-critical, being hyper-technical atheists, which, as an atheist myself, sometimes I draw semantic lines just for gigs, just for a giggle here and there. Not my God. Yeah, that's the stereo. It's always a bit, though, on the stereotypical atheists who get really butthurt about things like that. I don't really care that you say God bless you. I don't really care. I don't really care. Christmas, all this stuff. I talked about that. Well, that humanistic society is back in the news, or humanist society. It's like the Human Fund from Seinfeld. Like, did these guys just watch a few too many episodes of Seinfeld where George Costanza's Human Fund? And hey, you know what? Let's start a league about all that. This is from Yahoo News. Atheist must swear to God or leave the U.S. Air Force. Dayline, Washington. The U.S. Air Force has told a sergeant he will have to leave the military unless he agrees to take an oath with the phrase, "So help me God," officials said Tuesday. In the latest religious controversy to roil the Air Force, the atheist airman last month was denied his request to re-enlist because of his refusal to swear to God, and he is now poised to take the military to court, his lawyer said. We have not received word from the Air Force regarding our letter. It has not indicated a willingness to settle out of court, said Monica Miller, an attorney for the American Humanist Association, which has taken up the service members' case. With the deadline for re-enlisting expiring in November, the technical sergeant at Screech Air Force Base in Nevada, whose name has not been released, will be forced to sue the government in a federal court, Miller told AFP. In the past, an airman could opt for an alternative phrase and omit the words, "So help me God," but the U.S. Air Force changed its policy in October 2013. The other branches of the American military do not require the reference to God and make the phrase optional. This is the only branch, to my knowledge, that's actually requiring everyone in all instances to use the religious language, Miller said. The requirement violates the U.S. Constitution, which bars religious tests to hold office or other positions, Miller said of the case, which was first reported by the Air Force Times. The government cannot compel a non-believer to take an oath that affirms the existence of a supreme being, she said. The sergeant's services expires in November, and he has until then to re-enlist and take the oath, said U.S. Air Force spokeswoman Ann Stefanik. So here we have, technically, yes, the government cannot compel a non-believer to take an oath that affirms the existence of a supreme being. All right, you're trying to be in the armed services, and would that be separation of church and state, I suppose, First Amendment? Okay, yeah, you are right. Yes, this guy will probably win his lawsuit in federal court, and he will be the most maligned Air Force sergeant ever. All this to be a sergeant in the Air Force? Do you, honestly, listen, if you're in the Air Force and your goal is to be in the Air Force, you really want to be in the armed services, you really want to be there, and you want to climb the ladder, you want to make a career out of it in the armed services, and then you get out, you get a consulting job, you write a book, something, okay, you want that career path for yourself. This is the worst way to go about it. Because what do you think life in the Air Force is going to be like for you, guy, bro, atheist brosif? What do you think life in the Air Force is going to be like for you after you win? Because you're going to win. I mean, this is, all right, yeah, you win. Good job. Here you go. Now you're in the Air Force. You think the Air Force brass is just going to forget about you? Do you think the people you serve with are just going to be, oh, yeah, that's Frank. Oh, yeah, he got in here in a weird way, but all right, whatever. Let's go on doing Air Force things, whatever it is they do. Flying around, sitting in chairs, the chair force, whatever. I don't know. Do you think they're really going to forget about you? They're not. You are going nowhere. This seals your fate of not advancing, not rising to a top position, unless you're going for the long con. Unless he's playing for the extreme long con, whereby he's going to win his lawsuit now. The Air Force is going to be forced to accept his reenlistment without him saying God, or without him affirming the existence of a supernatural being. He's going to go that way, but years down the road when he hasn't advanced, years down the road when he's still a sergeant or whatever their ranking hierarchy is, when he hasn't moved commensurate with the work that he's done, his prowess, his time served, when he hasn't moved up the chain at all or any substantive amount, he's going to sue them again for discrimination because it's clear to him that they're not advancing him up the chain because of this thing that happened years ago when he sued and won and all this stuff. Now, if that's his play, and then he can write a book. Then it doesn't matter that you were never a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force, or again whatever they are, or an air marshal or marshal or whatever they are. I don't even know. It doesn't matter that you never reached that. Now you've got a book. Now you got yourself a book deal, my friend. I applaud him if that's his long con play. But right now, you just look like another one of those atheist penises that just are drawing a line at saying the word God. And it's incredibly semantic. You know exactly what you're doing. I mean, you're an atheist. I'm an atheist. Many people are atheists. And I can say God and not be, oh man, I can say if I'm ever called to testify or if I'm ever part of a jury and I need to be sworn in or I need to be taken oath, I can say, so help me God. And I understand the spirit of what that statement, what that proclamation is trying to capture. I can understand that. It's not really I believe in God and may he come down and smite me if I don't tell the truth here or if I don't execute my duties to the full blah, 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 blah. It's not about, I need to be scared of that fictitious God that I don't believe in. It's an appealing to a higher power. It's the emotional, if there is something bigger than me, I will try my best no matter what. That's what they're trying to get you to say. It's a stupid oath. It's an anachronism. It's been around for way too long. I get it, and I'll throw my hat in that ring. But you know what it is, and you know what it isn't. You know, as an atheist, if you say, blah, 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 Air Force things, Air Force things, Air Force things, so help me God, you don't magically believe in God, do you? You still can go, oh, yeah, this Bible thing is crap. Get that out of here. Let's go, one life to live, baby, and, Days of Our Lives and other midday soap operas. This is like the atheists that are scared of, well, I don't want to say God. I don't want to say, they shouldn't be saying God around my child in the Pledge of Allegiance. God this. Oh, Christmas. It should be Happy Holidays. It shouldn't be Christmas. Ha 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 ha. Oh, Christmas had more to do with, there's the Kwanzaa. Basically Kwanzaa. I'm a Kwanzaa guy myself. I like Kwanzaa. I do Kwanzaa things. It's put on the garb and all this stuff. But this is the aversion that some hypercritical atheists have to anything having to do with God or Jesus or Christianity or any other organized religious saying or meaning or just social cue. These people that get all up in arms about this are just like the homophobes that believe that they will be infected by the gay if the gays are allowed to be out in public doing their gay things. Right? Like, oh, yeah, I don't want gay marriage in public because that lessens my marriage. If these two homosexuals are able to get married, that might affect my marriage. Or I don't want to have my son discuss. I don't want to have the discussion with my son as to why his friend has two daddies, because that might make my son gay. The gay's gonna come get you, and I want to be free from the gay. You're no worse than, or you're no better than those people when you're that kind of an atheist. You give atheism an awful name when you go around just semantically just, aha, I gotcha. Just say the damn thing and go on about your business in the Air Force. If you want to say the Pledge of Allegiance, say under God. Because you're an atheist before, you're an atheist while you say the word God, and you're an atheist after. Just say it. So what? There are bigger things that you can do to champion atheism than just petition that or try to get a law passed to get In God We Trust taken off the money, or get In God We Trust taken off the walls of the courthouse. What are we talking about? Atheists are still being oppressed. How about we talk about the whole idea that there are municipalities that actually think it's a good idea to present creationism along with evolution? How about that? Go focus on that. That we're teaching children. Actively teaching, not passively you say it enough and sometimes da-da-da-da-da. No, this is actively teaching, hey, here's creationism. People actually think this is on equal footing with evolutionary theory. Ha ha ha, yay. Go fight that. None of this, I don't want to say God, so, because I might get the Jeebus. The Jeebus might come get me. Just stop it, atheists. I hate those kinds of atheists. All right, we got to show some love for our sponsor here, Chaos Heroes Online. Today's episode is brought to you by Chaos Heroes Online, a brand new MOBA-style game from Area Games. Head on over to www.chaosheroes-online.com, chaosheroes-online.com. It's a brand new MOBA-style game in the ilk of Dota. You can go there, play it, sign up for the beta now. It is, I believe, open to you. There's a link in the YouTube description, or again, go to www.chaosheroes-online.com, chaosheroes-online.com. In another story, this is from dailymail.co.uk. Illegal immigrants are enrolling in our schools, but they've got gray hair and more wrinkles than me, warned city mayor. The mayor of a city in Massachusetts has claimed that some illegal immigrants who have entered from Guatemala and are enrolled in public schools have graying hair and more wrinkles than her. Judith Flanagan Kennedy, mayor of Lynn, that sounds like a Judith Flanagan Kennedy, mayor of Lynn, praise be unto you. Mayor of Lynn said that many attending the schools are not children, but the federal government will not allow officials to verify their ages. One of the students was revealed to be 35 years old, while others are clearly much older than 21, the oldest at which you are entitled to attend public schools in Massachusetts, Ms. Kennedy said. One of the things that we did notice when we were processing some of these students coming in was that they were adults, she told CNS News at a press conference. There were people with graying temples, she added. There were people with more wrinkles than I have around their eyes. Most of the immigrants coming into the schools from Guatemala were claiming to be between 14 and 18 years old, but the schools have no way of officially verifying their real ages. Ms. Kennedy says they have been told by the Department of Justice that they cannot. And with the number of that they cannot verify their ages, and with the number of Guatemalan students almost doubling from 2012-13 to the last academic year, she warned that this could lead to an increase in taxes in order to pay for their education. In 2013, 101 Guatemalans enrolled at Lynn's public schools, compared with 56 the previous year. Public schools are required by law to enroll all children, no matter of their immigration status. A child, according to federal law, is someone for whom state education is provided and is within the age limits. In Massachusetts, that is between 3 and 21 years old. Ms. Kennedy said that despite there being no official way to tell if these alien students are in fact adults, it can be very easy to tell. Every once in a while, we'll be able to determine that someone is well above the age at which they would be entitled to an education at Lynn Public Schools, she said. For example, if a student does not show up for a few days of classes, we will send our truant officers out to find out what's going on at that home. She told of how officials turned up at the door of one boy who had been repeatedly missing school, only to be told by a woman who answered that he was 35 years old. The Department of Justice stated to public schools back in May, you must ensure that you do not discriminate on the basis of race, color, or national origin, and that students are not barred from enrolling in public schools at the elementary or secondary level on the basis of their own citizenship or immigration status, or that of their parents or guardians. I said a couple days ago that we live in a society where being politically correct and being sensitive to minority issues, immigration issues, all that stuff, has started to poison the well as far as actual reporting of news, reporting of facts, unbiased facts in the news. It's gotten to the point now where being sensitive, as per the Justice Department of the United States of America, it's gotten to the point that, quote, you must ensure that you do not discriminate on the basis of race, color, or national origin, and that students are not barred from enrolling in public schools at the elementary and secondary level on the basis of their own citizenship or immigration status or that of their parents or guardians. And we are telling you, you cannot try to independently confirm their age, because that is a violation of some right that they supposedly have. Because, well, they're entitled to an education. You have to enroll all children in public schools. And what defines a child is up to you, the state. But because we can't be seen as discriminating against immigrants, you have to take their word for it. So, and if you do say, hey, can I get a birth certificate or something to show that you are of the age you say you are, that is discrimination now. That's discrimination when you have a 35-year-old male in children or in school with children, in a classroom with children, and he's not the teacher. He's sitting there drawing stuff. You have a 35-year-old undocumented Guatemalan immigrant in a classroom with children. You have no idea of his criminal history from Guatemala. You have no idea of any sexual crimes he may have committed. You have no idea about any of this, and you are barred from finding out any of it. Because, the immigrants we need to protect the sanctity of the immigrants. We need to make sure, we need to protect them from the evils of all the, we can't be seen as discriminating. We can't make them feel uncomfortable. So you can't ask them how damn old they are. And you can't try to independently confirm it. Because, listen, I'm all for immigration reform. Make these people citizens, yes. But we can't go around pretending as though asking, hey, you've got graying hair. Are you really 14 years old? And should you be in the 7th grade with these children? These 14-year-old girls or boys? Are you really how old you say you are? That's not discrimination. I mean, come on. And to think that anybody would go, yeah, there we go. That's good. It's good. That'll work. That's discrimination. We need to protect people from that. We need to protect people from being asked how old they are and vetted by public schools. Okay, we're done. It's over. Listen, the The age of skepticism is coming to an end. Now it's PC from here on out. It's PC from here on out. Protect everybody's emotions. You can't even seem to discriminate against anybody because somebody might be offended somewhere. You can't do anything anymore. And listen, it's right here. A lot of people like to pretend, it's not political correctness isn't really an issue. It's just right-wing nut jobs just going off and saying, hey, these crazy things where political correctness is overwrought. They're making it up. No, it's right here. Massachusetts. In a small town in Massachusetts, there was a 35-year-old Guatemalan immigrant in school with children. As a student. And the public schools were barred, kept, told not to independently try to confirm that student's age because that would be discrimination. And in our final news story today, there was an awful story making the rounds on the internet that apparently some teenagers duped some student into pouring a bucket, doing the ALS ice bucket challenge, but he was actually pouring a mixture of feces and urine and ice water on his head, and it was an awful thing. And now the cops, this is from CNN, the cops have identified people behind the ice bucket prank on autistic teen. Police have identified those involved in an incident in which the ice bucket challenge trend was used to trick an autistic teenager into being drenched with a bucket of urine, feces, and spit. Authorities are not yet releasing names and are not discussing potential charges as the investigation is not yet complete. We are conducting a comprehensive investigation. Bay Village, Ohio Police Chief Mark Spatzel said 3 celebrities have offered a reward to find those responsible. Jenny McCarthy and Donnie Wahlberg joined Drew Carey on Sunday in offering $10,000 each. Bay Village area is a suburb of Cleveland, Carey's hometown, in the city where the Drew Carey show was based. A video of the prank shows the teen standing outside a garage door in his underwear when someone from the rooftop dumps a bucket of murky brown fluid over his head. The 15-year-old boy's mother told CNN affiliate WJW-TV in Cleveland that the video was discovered on her son's cell phone. He was embarrassed because he did not know what the contents were until afterwards, and then he didn't want anybody to know. They used his phone to tape it, and they put it up on Instagram. The stunt appears to be a spoof of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, in which participants get a bucket of ice water dumped over their heads. The campaign raises awareness and donations for research on amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. According to the ALS Association, the Ice Bucket Challenge has raised more than $110 million. Now, this is an awful story and, again, just stupid. But I want to urge caution here, and I want to know. I just want to know. As we all know, autism is a spectrum disorder. It's not just if you are labeled as autistic, you are immediately special needs, and special needs to the point where you are not a functioning societal human, and you can be easily duped by other quote normal people into doing things. Because every time I've seen this story reported, it just has said autistic teen. And the thing I know about autism, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't play one on YouTube. The thing I know about autism, though, is that the spectrum keeps expanding. From it's expanding from non-functioning autism to very high functioning autism. And it's going higher and higher and higher functionality, even though you are getting closer and closer and closer to, quote, normal, socialized, acclimated humans. That autism spectrum is grabbing more and more and more of them, and more high functioning people are being classified as autistic. And once you get that, it's like a badge. Once you're classified as autistic, once some syndrome you have is classified under the autism spectrum, you are autistic. And that it's classified immediately as special needs, but you may not need it. So I want to know, because whenever this is reported, it's an autistic teen. And when people think of autism, they don't think of high functioning autism. They don't think of things that were just a few years ago not classified as autism. You've got this syndrome thing, but you're basically a normal person, not special needs. But now we've redefined the autism spectrum to include your syndrome. Well, now you're autistic special needs. Everybody thinks of low functioning or non-functioning autism when they think of autistic boy, autistic teen, autistic child. But that's not necessarily the case. So I want to know, and I think it a relevant and pertinent question, how autistic was this kid? How autistic was he? Where was he on the spectrum? Or where is he on the spectrum? Because, listen, there's probably other guys, other groups of punks who tricked their punk friend into doing this. And their punk friend isn't autistic. The guy tricked isn't autistic. They were just pranking him. Now it's a gross prank, and it's dangerous because you're pouring feces on people, and there's some dangerous stuff going on with human waste or any kind of biological waste. That's you don't want that. There are some dangerous things that can happen from that. It's dangerous and dumb, okay. But the angle that people keep playing up is autism. He was autistic, implying that these people are an extra special kind of evil because they picked on the special needs kid. They picked on the severely developmentally disabled child. That's the narrative that everybody's playing up, and how evil they are. How evil. But if he was heretofore just a normal kid who happened to be classified as autistic, he just may have been another punk who was tricked. Is it not possible? We need to know where on the autism spectrum this kid was, because even though he may be autistic, he may not really be the image that people get in their head of a truly disabled person. He may not be disabled at all. He may just be classified as autistic. But that doesn't matter when you can just say, oh, well, autistic, look at how evil these people are. They were picking on an autistic child. Okay, well, I think it relevant to ask how autistic was he? I know that makes me a bastard in the eyes of people. I know it does, but I think it's relevant. How autistic was this kid? Somebody explain to me how that isn't a relevant question, because I will reserve my extra outrage because you trick somebody into dumping crap on their head. All right, that's messed up. That's wrong. There's a higher gear of outrage reserved for somebody who tricked a truly disabled person into doing so. Somebody who did not have their wits about them enough to say no or to even see this coming, to even comprehend that it could be a thing. There's that level in me, of course. But I'm not just going to hear autistic and fly off the handle because, and maybe I'm an extra special bastard for this, I know that the autism spectrum keeps getting larger and keeps encompassing more people who were previously thought not to actually be special needs. But with the special, with everybody, oh, well, my child's special needs. You need to expand that. Oh, well, we will. Okay. Oh, yeah. Now it's bigger. Because I'm not going to get outraged about it until I know exactly how autistic this kid was. All right, let's bring it home. Another great episode of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining. I had a great time putting on the show for you. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you find the show in its YouTube formation. I greatly appreciate everybody that goes there. Check it out. Plenty of video gaming content as well as vlog stuff there. YouTube.com/LeftyOX. Thank you to the sponsor, Chaos Heroes Online. If you want a MOBA-style game, head on over to www.chaosheroes-online.com. That's chaosheroes-online.com. Thank you to everybody that's been following me on Twitter at Lefty643. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show. You've been helping out. Try it. It definitely works. Share the show with friend, family, and coworker. Get it on your PC, tablet, or mobile device, Android, iOS, or iTunes. It doesn't matter. Wherever you get your podcasts, search The Lefty Show. You'll find us there. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
Come with me if you want to live.